Okay, guys, we are live on an Evening with Golos show, another episode today. Today, the topic is English. That means we are gonna speak in English from the very beginning. So you can start getting out your dictionaries and, go ahead and practice. Well, it looks like there's not many of us, but I have heard that people do actually watch that in replay on YouTube. So I will do what I usually do what I did. Sorry, the last time that we had an English hangout, twice we had it. I will go over the past 2 weeks actually because we didn't have one last time. I will do it rather quickly. I hope that this time some other people will join us. So we have a bit more people in the actual hangout. Well, if not, then shit happens, as they say. But okay, let me try and go over the last 2 weeks. Let me just see where we stopped last time. I think it was the time when we had Ned on our show. That's right, yeah. So when Ned was here on the 21st of October, what did we speak about? Basically, Ned gave his views on the project. He was very positive about it. We had Full House, which was very nice. Unfortunately, we don't today. Everybody spoke about maybe that in the future, doesn't matter if it's only going to be GOLOS and Steam. Maybe it's even going to be more platforms like a Chinese platform or a Korean platform. But eventually, one day, everybody said there's going to be a hope maybe to see a big multi-signature sort of thingy wallet where everybody will manage to go into there and use all the tokens and all the platforms together. After he left, we spoke about quite a few things. We spoke about, in fact, it was PFang that's here today and Annex that was saying that the blocks that we can see on the chain that coming from Steam, they're not actually causing any harm, which is calmed down a lot of people, I think. And pretty much it. We spoke about just the week before it, and I think it was that on the day. And the next day we had we spoke about a little bit of marketing. What did we speak about? We spoke about it. We need to find audience to do the correct marketing, and obviously each audience has a certain degree of coming towards it. We spoke about it. We need to concentrate on the crypto society in Russia, because for the ICO, I mean, about banners, advertisements, and about the ease to invest. Okay, then the next day there was a show about how to use GOLOS, which I'm not going to go into because it's not very interesting, I think. So then we had an interview with Dennis. He's actually today with us. This user is DR2073. Since then, he's actually in the top witness list, which is nice to see. The next after that, we had an author of the week, the first time we did it. Unfortunately, none of the authors that were mentioned they actually came to the show, but it's okay. It's only the beginning, and I can understand people, being shy, and it's okay. I think in a month or 2 months or 3 months time, there will be a big queue, so it's okay. We spoke about developing the day after that. We showed quite a few features so far that's been made from Jesta, from Roland, the switching thing. When you can switch between Steam and GOLOS. There was the sites SteamD and GOLOS D and GOLOS DB from Jesta and GOLOS Steam Stats, the equivalent of that. Sorry, GOLOS D wasn't made. GOLOS DB was made by Jesta, and GOLOS D was somebody else. A few other developments. Then we spoke about, there was a very interesting show on 27th about economics, which sparked quite a few discussions on GOLOS itself afterwards. A few posts, which was very nice to see that people actually do listen to these shows later on replay, because there was 3 or 4 posts about the show, and all of them were made from people who weren't on the show itself, and all of them sparked quite quite a big discussion, and which one of them did. And then we had a day off. We had a Minsk conference right here on this channel. There was a conference, Bitcoin conference in Minsk in Belarus, organized by the GOLOS team. It wasn't actually only about GOLOS. It was a general Bitcoin conference, but there was a lot about GOLOS. And it was 4 hours long, and it was live on this channel. Then again, we had another loop of another week, which was marketing. And again, we spoke about concentrating on how to position ourselves. We spoke mainly about that, and it's a very nice actually topic, and it concerns a lot Steam, I think, too, because a lot of what's been said was that one of the main mistakes that Steam made at the very beginning was the way it positioned itself. What I mean by that is that a lot of it was said that, okay, you know, we have Facebook, that's our main opponent, and it's not correct. Steam has got nothing to do with Facebook. It's much more. You know, it's a blogging platform. It's not a social networking platform for first, because if you look at the main points of a social networking platform, you know, they just don't fit into what Steam does. Steam is not your normal social networking platform anyways, if you are going to compare it. So, and obviously another thing in the positioning was that one of the things that, and GOLOS is doing it now, and it's a mistake, and we were speaking about that it's not to point out that our main thing is that we pay for content. Our main point is that, first of all, we give people the opportunity to post stuff on the blockchain, which means the information will never be deleted. Never, ever, ever. And so there's no censorship, really, because they can create another, web front that doesn't filter any content, and they can use it, and the information will still be in the blockchain, even if it's filtered in the front end. It doesn't matter. And so we spoke about distancing ourselves from Facebook and VK, because in Russia we have Contact as well, and trying to sort of get another audience. The day after, again, there was again how to use GOLOS, so I will not go into that again. Then we had another delegate interview, 2 delegates, and then we had an ICO special because it was the 1st of November, and I can say that the ICO was launched, but I will not do any advertisement because it was agreed that there will be no ICO advertisement in English, so I will not go into that. The day after that, we spoke about features again, about the common hard fork and Steam, and we spoke about that we probably will not do hard fork while the ICO is at place, because, well, it probably wouldn't be very correct. Of course, that each witness or delegate has to know how to handle a hard fork, but we were contemplating whether it was the correct time to do it while the ICO is in place. So we're still thinking about it. We spoke a lot about how to motivate developers, and we didn't actually come to any conclusion, to be honest. But my personal point, and again, this is my point, my view, my opinion, that developers should be motivated because Steam or GOLOS or whatever is paying you to post. So first of all, you have the opportunity to post there and to have lots of people follow you. You can give a link to your GitHub or whatever. And second, you already get paid, really. So, okay, this is a personal opinion again, and I understand that, a good developer needs to be paid a lot. But again, this is only an opinion. And yesterday, which we come to yesterday, yes, we have 2 weeks. I've done 2 weeks in 10 minutes. We had another economics discussion, and which I will try to resume and lead us to our today's discussion that I wanted to have. And it's good that Bifang that you are here, because it's about your point. So yesterday we spoke about that anyone is really welcome to invest or not, because we had, some feedback on us. We have on Bitcoin Talk, on the Russian Bitcoin Talk, we had a lot of not bad reputation, but we have a lot of guys who don't understand this platform because they don't understand Steam, and they don't like Steam, so they don't like GOLOS. So, it's such of a wheel, a never-ending wheel. But it's not that Steam is to blame, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we have a lot of negative light in this. So We spoke about it. Anybody who wants to invest is welcome, and nobody has to invest. Nobody's making anyone to invest here, but everybody has to understand that investing in this kind of platform is very long term. And if you do that, you have to understand the value of the long term investing. Sorry. So then we spoke a little bit about the ICO results, but like I said, I will not mention it a lot. But I can say that if we speak in Russian terms, ICOs, I'm not talking about. Remember that we are not making major advertising marketing on this. We're only marketing it on the Russian crypto sort of market so far, but we are planning to step up and market it as well on the Russian blogging market. I can say that we've broken some records already, because we have 75 BTC, which is not a lot, which is really nothing in comparison to when you have Decent or something like that. But as anybody should know, GOLOS has already it doesn't matter how much money the ICO collects, because it's already been invested in to launch and to go until the first payout. So whatever money the ICO collects will go to developing. And I will tell you more than that. We have spoken with the developers right here live. We had a big show, full house really. And the other day, I can't remember what day it was, and it was said loud and clear that we will have a really big experiment that nobody has done ever before in crypto anyways. But what they plan to do is all the fund that collects the ICO money that will go for development, and plus the money that has been the money, but the tokens that are aside on the technical accounts for development, will be used in a different way. When I say a different way, what I mean is there will be created a sort of board of directors. It will either be the top 19 delegates or the top 100 delegates, or it could be that it's not only the delegates, it could be that as well it's the whole community. They will think about, for example, today we say, okay, so right now we need to develop our UI or whatever, we need a new style text editor that we need, let's say 10 BTC for. And then we sort of write a post about it from the technical account or from the GOLOS account, and we make a vote for it with the whole community. And, the more people vote, if everybody votes for it, the community does, then we will do it. If not, then not. And what it is, it's basically, if you think about the analogy, comes from just any normal stocks. I mean, if you are used to trading stocks, or if you have came across trading stocks, you know how it works. And the way it works, that anybody who has a share in a company can have a say on the decision the board of directors make. So, okay, not every company works like that, but this is the way it should be. And this is the way we're going to try and do it. We'll see if it works. How will we do the voting? It has been said by Valery, the blockchain master, as I call him, the key man of the blockchain, that we will launch voting sort of thing soon on the actual platform. So you will be able to create like how to say that, like voting form. So instead of, how do people do it today on Steam, on GOLOS, they write a post and then they put 2 or 3 comments, and whichever comment gets more votes wins. And this is the way the voting works now. So what he will do is we will actually have real voting forms, like we have on Facebook or any other social networking. Okay, so that's pretty much the 2 weeks summed up in quarter of an hour. And why I said economy will lead to today's question, because I know P-Funk, you are here today, and you mentioned a very interesting thing, which I mentioned to Val since then. And what you mentioned was, well, if you can hear me, maybe you can, if you can put your mic off, yeah. So do you want to say it again? I mean, what you said, do you want to explain it maybe in your own words when you said about the printing or the amount? Well, go ahead maybe and explain it.
Okay. Me and Sergey were talking about you know, what's going to happen after the ICO ends, and, you know, say, you know, who knows what exchange might add it, but you know, if say Bittrex added it, you know, what would happen if there's not enough liquidity provided on the market? And by liquidity, I just mean, you know, like a rough match of people wanting to buy, you know, roughly at the same price as the ICO, or maybe a bit above or below, you know, somewhere near it, hopefully, or, you know, it's not necessarily near it, but something that's preferably stable and not insane. And basically, my concern is to not repeat sort of the unfortunate situation which happened with Steam, which was the bubble. Which, I mean, it was great while it lasted. I won't lie about that. You know, especially for people who are posting. But it's led to this rather unfortunate situation where there's too much Steam dollars that you know, the printing of Steam dollars has entirely ceased from posting rewards, because there are too many Steam dollars versus the market cap of Steam itself. And so I want to sort of bring that up and sort of prepare you guys for, you know, what might happen if the demand on the market outstrips the potential supply. And I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem, as long as some of them, if that were to happen, some of the GOLOS were to be, you know, GOLOS on the major accounts owned by the GOLOS team were to be, you know, put on the market. But, you know, they might not decide to do that, and there might not be very many GOLOS, liquid GOLOS from other people that would be able to supply the market. So the issue, and of course a higher price is great, but the issue becomes if it becomes a bubble where it's an extreme rise and then an extreme fall, is you have this unserviceable debt in the form of, you know, Steam dollars in Steam or GOLOS backed gold in GOLOS, and it can create you know, what the issue is turned into Steam right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just hi Roland, by the way. Let me just sort of say what we have been saying, right? Because I really value your opinion, guys, because I mean, you've been in Steam much longer than I have anyways. And to me, really, when I speak to you guys, I sort of see your opinion as, okay, maybe big brother sounds too loud, right? But, you know, but really, I really do, because, you know, it really does give me an insight to what has already happened. And let me just say what we have been, a recap on what we've been talking about the price. And maybe when I say that, maybe you will correct me there, because okay, I will just go ahead instead of going in circles again and again. So what have we been saying is, a lot of the guys have the opinion that the bubble that happened on Steam could not happen on GOLOS could not happen to GOLOS for a few reasons. The first reason is because we would not have such a high demand, because we have a much smaller market in the beginning. So this is sort of a macro reason. So we can put that aside. You know, this is not really, it's not really good reason, because, you know, it can happen anyways, because speculators, they come from all over the place. You know, so okay, that I'll put aside straight ahead. Second reason, which is a more sort of an economical reason, and here I want to stick for a little bit longer. So basically, because we have the ICO, and 60% of the GOLOS tokens on the beginning, right? On the beginning, we will have, at the end of the ICO, we'll have roughly 45 million tokens, right? Dennis, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, because he knows the numbers well. Yeah, so roughly 45 numbers, 45 million. 27 of those million are sold on the ICO in terms of GOLOS power, which means that 40%. Out of which, you know, 10% went as a share drop to Steam holders, then 10% is a technical account, then another 10% is license pay, and so on and so on and so on. and we are not left with such a huge amount of liquid GOLOS tokens, really, which is a good and a bad thing at the same time. It's a good thing because we will have much less tokens, which means if we have a high demand for them, people will be ready to buy them at a high enough price because there will not be many people dumping. And even if there will be many people dumping, they won't be dumping a lot. But that is coming exactly to your question, and I've never actually seen it, and I've never actually viewed it this way before. But now when you say it, it makes me really worried, because when what you say is, well, think about it the other way. When you have a high demand, it means you have to give people those tokens. And if we do start giving them, let's say we use the GOLOS China account. We have a GOLOS China account, which is held in case of a big Chinese exchange coming. So it holds, I don't remember how many liquid tokens, but but it's a big number. It's something like a few million, I think. No, maybe not a few million, maybe a few 100,000. I'm not sure. And well, it doesn't mean it will be necessarily used for China. It could be used for any exchange, really. But what it means that we do have some supply in case we do need it urgently. But let me get what you're saying straight. You're saying that if we do give them those tokens, it means we are going to be printing gold-backed GOLOS, which means when the bubble is over, there will be too much printed, and we will not be able to support it, just like Steam is not able to support Steam dollars now, and the price basically of Steam itself is falling. You see, I've never viewed it this way. I don't think I actually get it 100%. I do get it economically, and I do get it from perspective of Steam, but I don't think the problem actually fits in my head. If anybody wants to jump in here and help me out a bit, that would be great.
So the mechanism of at least in Steam, I haven't looked at if there's any changes with GOLOS, but in Steam the mechanism of the SBD is tied to the witness's price feed. So in GOLOS, the delegate's price feed, if there is a market value that goes up and up and up, because of supply, demand way outstripping supply, the delegates' price feeds will go up. They will report accurately, and
there will be more GBG printed because the feed price is higher.
Yes. So you joined in August, so you remember when Post had like 10,000 SBD, getting rewarded to them, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So there's a chance of that happening in GOLOS, and that can create, just the too much debt in the form of GBG on
yeah,
GOLOS.
right, because we have to remember that it's a debt, right? Yeah, you see, okay, I think I was missing that. Well, it's not that I didn't know that, but I think when I'm thinking about the problem that you mentioned, I sort of forgot about it. So yeah, of course it's a debt. That means that when we have a high demand and high price, people report high. Okay, I see what you're saying, but how would you avoid it? I don't think there's actually any way to avoid. I don't see. Well, you can avoid it with manipulating the market, which is obviously the worst thing anyone can do, is go out there and especially in a decentralized economy and manipulate the market, right? We are going against all the rules here. But how else would you?
Well, it depends on what the GOLOS team want to do about it. It's not necessarily manipulating the market to basically put GOLOS on the asks of a market. If they wanted to set some orders, either cascading or set just a large wall at some point, that's not necessarily manipulative. It's basically saying, okay, yeah, if you want to buy these tokens here, we'll sell them and here's the price. But that would be the providing, liquidity, kind of balancing demand with supply. So you have a more steady price and you don't end up with a, parabolic price increase, which will, cause problems down the line. It will feel great. Believe me, if it happens, it'll feel great at the time. But now, if you're involved with Steam, it's painful now.
Oh, of course. No, I mean, I'm involved in Steam as much as you're involved with GOLOS, let's say. Let's sort of make this comparison. So even maybe at some extent more, maybe somewhere less. It doesn't matter, right? But I see what you're saying, obviously. And well, I don't know, guys. Anybody else has any thoughts about that? I mean, no, right? Because I mean, it's a tough question. And really, when you say that the only way to do it is just to put up orders, buy orders, and sell orders, that's, well, I
Well,
really
not buy orders, but sell
sell
orders.
orders, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you basically you're just saying, okay, well, if nobody else is going to be selling any, well, to prevent a price, runaway, it's something that might, I mean, this is speculative. It might not even happen, but I think it's good to have a plan in
What
place of what.
what if you lower the inflation?
Inflation of the vests or the
Yeah, what
jests.
if you just lower, yeah, the jest, yeah. What if you just lower the inflation? That means there will be more tokens.
Um,
Um,
there would be, well, there would be less tokens. The inflation of the jests is still, it's still locked up in the jest, and you still have to power it down. So there would be less tokens over time. With more inflation, you get more tokens over time, but then you get,
mhm,
an unsustainable market price in that direction too. So
mhm.
yeah, that's a careful balance, but that's something that GOLOS, you guys can tweak if you guys want to. That's something that, GOLOS can be competitive with Steam in its settings, and be a little more agile than Steam is. Control your own destiny, basically.
Yeah, well, this is, I think, the main point, because before we have the first payout, we really have to do all this and make all the changes that we want. Um, I mean, the way I see it is, making changes to the economy if we do need to make them. Whether they are, sort of major changes and difficult changes, well, then it's something we have to do, because after the first payout, we will still have more people coming in, which means we'll create a greater demand, as you say. So this is the right time and place to think about it, and to make an offer to the devs and say, guys, well, here's what we think, and we don't do it, because if we don't do it, here's such and such, that's what will happen. And we don't want to, I'm not going to say we don't want to follow in the footsteps of Steam, because this is stupid, because I believe in Steam, really. I believe in Steam from day one, and I still believe in it, and I still see, I mean, Steam is a very, very young project, and, to say that it's something is wrong with it would be wrong. So everything is still ahead of Steam. But this is a big problem. But I mean, I think one of the main things that I would say is one of the first things that I would start to introduce from today, because we can see it as something of the causes of the problem you're speaking about, is to try and teach people to use the internal market and not the outside market, to exchange their GOLOS tokens to GBG. For that, what we need to do is we need to have a slightly nicer interface on the market itself, I think. But if people exchange on the internal market, that means not that many tokens will go outside. You understand what I'm saying, right? It will create a sort of slightly better balance in that way.
The internal market is actually just it trades between users. The way to reduce the debt load of the GBG and Steam Dollar is the conversion, actually, which converts after 7 days. You do a conversion request, and then in 7 days you get converted at the current market, or the current weekly median market rate reported on by the delegates. So that actually burns the GBG and gives the GOLOS in return.
So is it a good thing to obviously use the internal market? The way I see it, it has to be good.
Yeah, I think liquidity on the internal market's good. I think I haven't looked at it in a few days, but the liquidity on the internal market in Steam hasn't been great, and it kind of makes it so you have to use these third-party exchanges if you wanted to sell, your GBD or
Steam.
SBD, right? So I think that's a good thing if you have more liquidity on there. It was originally designed, Steam was originally designed to have rewards for the people who provided liquidity to the internal market. They were way too high, especially when the pump happened, and they were kind of just deleted and forgotten about. But I think there is definitely value in having some liquidity in the internal market as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well.
And by the way, I want to just I saw Alexandra Z.
Yeah, I was gonna exactly ask you that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm powering down. My initial thought was I would maybe send some people some GOLOS for a contest or whatever. Now, well, Tipster told me, hey, don't do that because then they could just send it to the, I think I saw one exchange has it, but I totally understand. I don't want to mess. I'm not going to be selling any when the ICO is going to happen. But I'm not going to bullshit you. I do plan on selling some GOLOS later on, when there's an actual market post ICO. But at the same time, like I was talking about in the first place, there's got to be some liquidity on the market, and there's no way I can nearly provide any of the amount that would be needed, but I could just be one in the crowd. So that's sort of my reasoning at this point, and I might be I like paying people for translations, so maybe I'll power somebody up for a translation. I don't know. And I also I'm also powering down about a third of my total jests right now, so I'm not powering down like as fast as I can either. So and I saw, I'm basically explaining this because I saw like some discussion about that in the delegates channel and the Russian channel. So that's the whole deal.
Yeah. Okay, Alexander, I hope it answers your question. There was a question on YouTube, guys, to those who didn't get what just happened, about from Alexander to P-Funk as to why he decided to power down right now. Well, to recap on that, the point, nothing is wrong with powering down, I think, but we can understand that the main thing of when the ICO is going and not trying to power down at this time, especially with you get the logic here. Okay, so anyways, what I wanted to talk about, another issue was, I don't know, as anybody else wants to jump in on the last thing we spoke with P-Funk, maybe about how to handle debt? Runs?
I had a question.
Yeah, go on.
Last week, I missed the first 15 minutes, so I hope you guys didn't talk about it yet. But last week, the talk couldn't happen because of the conference. Did you guys already talk about how was the conference for you guys?
Well, we have spoke about what happened in the past 2 weeks, but I didn't actually mention what was in the conference. It was in a different country. It was in Belarus, which is next to Russia. So most of us haven't been there. In fact, none of us, apart from the team, were there. The conference itself was nice. The guys introduced, it was in Russian, so there's no point of you guys watching the recap. It's on the channel, but no point trying to learn Russian for it. I don't think there was anything new for you said in it. It was actually not a Bitcoin conference as much as I presented it before. It was more a blockchain conference. It had a lot of people who don't have a clue about what blockchain technology is. So half of the conference went on to explaining what blockchain is and why it's good for you, and how is it better than a normal economy, and blah blah blah, so on and so on and so forth. Then they presented the project, which was nice, and then there was one guy, I don't know if I'm sort of ruining the surprise here for Steam users, but there was one guy who presented a very nice project, which he speaks about. It's 4.5 hours. This video it's long, right? But he speaks about for half an hour about a project called Steamstagram.
Yeah, with Pavel, right?
Sorry?
It's Pavel, right?
Yeah, you know who Pavel is, right? Okay, yeah, he's gonna be on the Steamfest. I think he's going to Steamfest, and this is a really cool project. And basically, for those who don't know what it is, yeah, it's by Pavel, and it's basically sort of an Instagram for Steam. It takes out the best pictures. I don't understand how it chooses them. I think it's sort of based on the votes of the users. It takes the pictures from. So P-Funk, this would be very interesting for you actually, because I know you like to take photos and your posts are quite popular with photos anyways, so it takes those popular pictures, sort of puts the texts aside, so there's no text, and you can upvote only the pictures. So it's basically like a second client, which uses only the pictures, which is really cool, which is exactly...
I actually had the same idea for 6 weeks ago or something. I was dabbling with it, so I reached out to him. I said, "Hey man, Steamstagram." I also had the same name. It's obvious you would pick that name. But we're gonna have a discussion. He's gonna present it also on Steamfest.
Cool.
Maybe I can help him out making the apps, or because I make a lot of mobile apps. But cool that he I didn't know he actually presented it on the conference.
Well, he didn't present it as much as he was just speaking about it. He didn't actually make any presentations. He just spoke about it. And because we are trying to convince him to do it for GOLOS before he does it for Steam, so we are trying to sort of have ourselves first. No, not really, but we are trying to convince him to do it on GOLOS.
I think you can make it at once for both platforms at once. I think that's
we're trying to be cheeky. We're trying to be cheeky and make him do ours first and then do it for Steam. So we can say we're first.
Yeah, you guys can alpha test it.
Well, no.
Maybe Microsoft should do something with the Microsoft Gologram.
Gologram. Oh, that would be cool. But really, I think that he will probably present it for Steam first, because everything well done and said. But obviously, this is the way to he cannot monetize it right now on GOLOS. He can only monetize it on Steam, and I can understand him as a developer. And if he spend money and time on this project, he has to have something in return. And obviously, on GOLOS, he will not get anything right now. Only people get to be known, but this is pretty much it. So I can understand if he goes and does it for Steam. In any case, he will go and do it for GOLOS afterwards anyway. So, but what we did speak about on one of the episodes was, in fact, it was 2 days ago, how cool about the reprint option. I think you saw that on Steam. There was some guy who was speaking about the reprint and how to create sort of things like Steamstagram, for example, a Steam-based Twitter or a Steam-based Instagram or a Steam-based, a second web front which would pick certain information, but you could still vote on it as a Steam user. So something like that. I'm trying to explain it in my own words. I might be missing some technical parts, obviously, but basically it would, it's the way Steamstagram works. But not only with pictures. I mean, you could do the same thing, for example, for tweets, let's say. So, yeah. For example, pick the best quotes.
There is a tweet, right?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
And there will be a new interface. Another guy's building a new interface, which will also be presented on Steamfest.
Cool.
It really looks super beautiful and totally different than the current Steam website, but all the main functionality is maintained, except it also has a draft functionality, so you can write a post and save it for later and then continue and write another post. Even upload some files through it, and then you have all your files in one place, and then you can use them in your posts. It looks really
this is really cool.
And that sounds brilliant. Really That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's Fabien is working on it. I don't know if you know his project.
Yeah. Well, I know that we have been speaking as well here on GOLOS about one of the main things to do is to change, obviously, as quickly as we can the UI And I think the first thing that will be introduced is probably user avatars, which will be probably introduced in the next few weeks, probably, and even until the end of the ICO, because we've been speaking about it a lot. And somebody made a post with an example of how it would look, and everybody was like, "Oh wow, obviously that looks much better." So,
Can I ask? Are you
sure.
Are you guys thinking about doing those for free?
Do you mean as in what do you mean for free? Like as in, do people have to pay to use them or what?
Well, at least in the I don't know how the Russian culture would react to it, but at least in Steam, it seems like it's overdue for avatars and banners and any sort of stuff like that, especially avatars because they're everywhere. And my only thought is they must be trying to think of a way to monetize them, and I think that's a really good idea, because not only you could maybe charge Steam dollar for an avatar or an avatar change, you could also maybe incentivize powering up in some way by having an avatar, or posting good stuff by having an avatar have a certain threshold of Steam power. And I don't know, the Russian culture, of course, is different, and they, it might not be compatible, but that's something that it could have some value in incentivizing powering up, or burning GBG or whatever it is. So consider what you might be giving away that you could maybe charge for. And,
well, yeah, let me just jump in a little bit there. I mean, first of all, when I say avatar, I don't mean just a picture on the top left of your screen, right? What I mean is, for example, especially in comments, when you see people commenting and you have your small icon. Let me see if I can find this. I'm sharing my screen, guys. So let me see if I can find this post very quick. While I do that, speaking about monetizing, well, you are right about that. The Russian different, and to try and monetize it, I'm afraid it might not end in a very good way. But then again, it depends how you do everything. It depends how you present the monetizing, and if potentially that monetizing can be good to other users, then maybe maybe that's not such a bad thing. And here's the post, I found it, okay? And here is an example of how it would look. Okay, there you go. You can see that. So this is only an example, right? But I think it looks much better when you look at it this way.
Yeah, it looks great.
You don't have to use you don't have to use your picture, obviously, but I think this looks fantastic, in comparison to just an empty, circle. Has Roland won something there? Did you win? Did you win $1 million? It looked like you did so.
No, I got the recipe for the broccoli courgette soup I'm gonna make now.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, and guys, and the second topic I wanted to mention today, which is a bit of a quicker topic, I think, but the second thing before we run off, I wanted to mention is something again we spoke about with P-Funk this morning, which was bots. And I don't actually know. Maybe Denise, maybe you can correct me here. Do we have any tools in place on GOLOS that prevent you from creating bots?
No tools, but just same as Steam protection, like confirming Facebook account and etc. No more else.
Yeah, so there you go, P-Funk. I mean, this answers your question. So this is a problem as well, I think.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know. I'm speaking basically from ignorance, but I do believe Steam has some mechanism of restricting how many accounts can sign up from an IP, and that runs into problems if you're at an event or something and you're trying to sign up like 5 or 10 people. But I should encourage you guys to figure out some way of restricting new account signups, because what happened in Steam is a ton of people, or a ton of accounts got registered using fake Facebook profiles. And I don't know how stringent VK is with account creation. But,
oh, you can do whatever you want on VK.
Yeah.
You need phone number on both UK and Facebook, so it's not hard to get many accounts, but you need phone number. Okay.
You need a phone number, but the thing is, in Russia, it's really easy to get a phone number. So you can just buy 50 SIM cards, on the corner. Instead of going to the shop and using your passport to buy one, you buy them from the corner, and then you register 50 accounts for, very, really cheap.
Sometimes just giving away for free near metro station, so it's really easy.
Yeah, and I mean, in the case of Facebook and Steam, people were able to create accounts using just Facebook accounts that weren't attached to a phone number too. So, and I'm sure in the past people have just huge botnets of VK accounts from hacks or whatever. So that kind of stuff can happen, and the account fee is low enough now that it's not a problem as far as stake goes, but it can add up in votes. Like, I think there's a ton of bot accounts that voted for my last post on Golos, and Sergey was like, "Hey, is that you?"
No, this was actually transferred from Steam. It's not created new ones.
Oh, there's Steam bots, I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, guys. Well, no, what I was saying is that, and not like I was concerned, but I was just wondering, because obviously we didn't see it before, and we were just discussing, we can see that somebody started to register bots. Well, I personally don't see bots as a really bad thing, but you have to understand who holds those bots, who's in possession of them, and what are they used for. So obviously, when each person is able to create 100 accounts, he sort of, first of all, he steals from GOLOS, because he receives those the initial payout, and he receives it, let's say, 100 times. That means he's stolen money from me, because I'm creating this money as a witness, and as a user, I own a part of the company. It means when he's stealing that money, I own less of the company. So, okay, so one bad thing is obviously stealing when we create bots. The second issue is obviously the way they are used. But I don't know, are they really that harmful as people say they are? I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys reckon? Apart from the fact that, they take this initial pay.
I think the people who make bots, they don't go through registering Facebook accounts or Reddit accounts.
They do it on a blockchain, you mean?
Well, they just pay for creating new. That's at least how I don't make bots as of yet. But if I need a new user, I just register it through the command line interface, and then I pay for it myself. So that part is not harmful. And of other bots, I don't know. I think there are many people running voting bots. If I post something on the Steamfest account, within a minute I have 150 upvotes. It's not because 150 people are at the same time looking at. I mean, if you check out what is a bot, you could also ask, because if you check out Xerox project Streamium, you could follow other people. So if you upvote something, then I can follow all your upvotes, and this is a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, because I follow one guy on Streamium, or maybe two guys on Streamium, and they just follow other people, so therefore there's a huge trail. So I upvote a shitload of content on Steam, but I intended only to upvote content which was upvoted by Xerox himself. But because he follows some other people, he upvotes what other people upvote, and then I upvote what Xerox upvoted because he upvoted because of other people. I don't know if you can follow me, but yeah. So am I a bot by then? Yeah, it's an automated vote process. So yeah, or is it more about the posting bot? Or I think there are different.
Well,
there's
I
different.
think you bring a really good point there, because if you look at Steam Trail this way, and I know, for example, it was about 3 weeks ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago, my wife had decided to post something, and then within 30 seconds, she had 200 something votes in 30 seconds, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I know I have bots. I know I'm on a bot list. I know that, but and I was like, what the fuck? 30 seconds, 200 votes. And I started to look at it, and I wasn't aware of Steam Trail at that point. And then I realized it was Instructor 2121, who he has such a huge Steam Trail going after him that when he upvotes something, he gets like he has a Steam Trail of 200 votes, which means basically each person who is voting on it, basically he's being a bot at this moment, right? Because he could maybe not want to vote for this. I mean, it was a good post. Okay, so, well, maybe it was a good post. I don't know. I mean, not for me. Obviously, I voted for it, but I couldn't not vote for it. But but when you on a Steam Trail, like you said, Roland, I mean, you're becoming a bot. So are we going back to the question: are bots really that bad? Because, for example, on GOLOS right now, Primus created a bot together with Anix, I think. It's called Seraphim. And basically what it does, when we have, when we have a troll, sorry to use that word, but when we have a troll join Steam, and he's as a new user starts to just flag randomly, like Rafunken did at one point on Steam, and he starts to flag random posts. So what that bot does, he upvotes those posts that were flagged in order so new users don't get disappointed. Then we have the bots like Cheetah, who look for, who are the really clever bots. But let's put them aside, because this is really, this is sort of not your regular bot. So I don't know. Is it a bad thing or is it a good thing? I don't know. And I really don't think there is a really way to stop it, because Arkanage, do you want to jump in and say something?
Yes. I don't know if you hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, but
Yeah,
if you
perfect.
can.
There was a lot of discussion on Steemit about are bots useful or not, especially when Cheetah was on top of trending and collecting a lot of rewards. I personally think both are good. There was a post on this, the benefit of bots, because they can automate a lot of works that people can do. I think the main problem is about account creation, because each time you create a new account, you get some Steam power or GOLOS power. If you remove this, and if you unpower new account, if for example a new account cannot upvote other post, or and then maybe we will get less upvote bots, because they will have to publish new posts before being able to do something more, or get a bit of more reputation. Let's say, for example, that someone cannot upvote before he get a 30 reputation.
But do we come there? I mean, I get what you're saying, but let me just, ask you a question. I mean, obviously, I'm being a devil's advocate here. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I just want to, look at it from every single point. And the first question that pops up to my head, but wait a second, we're a decentralized society. If we say to people that, you have to first write a post and then upvote it, we are creating boundaries for them, which means we're being centralized. So is that correct?
It's not centralization. It's to say, okay, you have first to participate to the community to be able to do something more, and then okay, I can create thousands of new accounts, but I won't be able to automate them, except if I develop a bots that create some cheaty content at first. But let's say you have to create a post that will be upvoted by someone else, and then you can do something more. So you can have a bot publishing new content, but if the newly published content by the bot is not upvoted by someone else, then he can do anything more. An idea.
So basically you're saying that in order for a user or a bot, it doesn't matter, in order for a new account to upvote, he has to not just to create a post, but he has to create a post that has been upvoted for by a different user.
Something like that.
It can be exploited. It can be upvoted by another bot. And reputation can be cheated such a way. It's a matter of.
Yeah, you see, I see the problem as well because, well, somebody who's, I mean, I don't know how to create bots. Okay, I'm not, you know me, I'm not a technical person, but I'm sure that it's not the person who can create a bot surely can create a bot who can write content, and another bot who can, and then after that he creates a second bot who writes content, and at this time his first bot upvotes, he upvotes his own, and he creates this never-ending line of, I upvote my first bot, and then my first bot creates a content and upvotes my second bot, and so on and so on and so on and so on.
Yep. And so yeah, I think whatever can be done to, if it's a captcha or a very hard captcha or something like that, even if it's something simple, just to slow people down from registering a lot of free accounts with fake credentials. Make sure that happens. Otherwise, you will have a ton of bots, not only from Steam but from GOLOS too.
Sure. Well, no, I think that to create such captchas and to create what Arkan is just saying, I think maybe that's a good idea because it would stop some people doing it in any ways.
I think actually on Steam bots are no more a concern. It was at the beginning, or especially in July, when you had Wang, for example, who was writing to everybody.
Yeah, that's a whole other issue. Like the auto commenting bots were discouraged pretty early on, and the reputation system helped with that because eventually those bot comment replies just went down to a hidden spot down below. But yeah, if I guess the same reputation system is in place in GOLOS, so I mean that can be dealt with if there's commenting. But yeah, people were setting up auto comment bots just so that they might get a cent here and a cent there, and the hope was, I guess, that it would add up.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, that's another aspect of bots, and I don't know. I think the situation is pretty good on Steam. The bots that do comments are, generally useful and serve a purpose, and aren't just sort of there to maybe collect an upvote or two.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I mean, I remember that when you were saying, when I first joined Steam, and then you write your post, and then you have like 20 comments, and you're like, what the hell, what's going on? And then you start to realize that every single one of those comments is just some plain bullshit that has nothing to do with your post. You have some random comments, talk about, oh, blah, 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 whatever. And yeah, so, this is, I think, an ongoing problem, but I do agree with you guys that maybe creating by the way, Seraphim is not a Primus bot. I'm being corrected here. It's only Annex's bot. Primus has his own bots. But
yeah, you're welcome.
But maybe what you guys are saying, maybe it's a good idea, and to create some boundaries, not boundaries really, but to create some things that will slow down the creation of bots, and maybe not every single person will want to create bots when he sees this thing.
Yeah, and there's I know Steam has moved on to SMS verification through some third-party service. Have you guys thought about or looked at doing that? Do you know?
No, I haven't heard. I haven't even heard that Steam has moved to that, because as far as I remember, in September, Steam banned new registrations from Russia if your IP is Russian.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh, all right, yeah, because they had so much people creating fake accounts. What they did is if you have a Facebook that was created in Russia, or if you have a Russian IP, you could not open a Steam account. I'm not sure if it's still in place.
That's brutal. Well, I don't think they do Facebook signups. I think it's purely SMS now.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, the last time I saw it, it was like, just give us your phone number and we'll make you an account. So yeah, a non-Steam. Oh yeah, you know, if somebody wants to set it up, you know, there's a non-Steam on Steemit, and that's kind of a nice service if you don't want to, you know, hand away any personal account or phone number of yours. So I don't know if you guys are thinking about doing something like that, but look at what a non-Steam has done.
You know we're gonna have a referral system in place, right? After January, it's gonna launch in January/February.
Yep.
And basically, for those who don't know, basically what it is, well, we're still not 100% sure that it's gonna happen, but it's 99.9% gonna happen. What it is anybody could become a referral. He will run his own server and register new users, and you can give a person 3 GP or you can give him 3,000 GP. It's completely up to you, but basically you will get the same percent. Doesn't matter how much GP you give to a new user, you will still get. We don't know how much yet, but we're thinking between 2% and 3% of their income, let's say. So yeah, I don't like the word income here, but you know, for lifetime. But because it sounds a little bit, you know, Mary Kay for me, sort of, you know. But you know, all those, but it's done for the greater good. Really, the idea is not bad.
Yeah, no, it's good to incentivize getting people to sign up for sure, as long as those accounts are legitimate. And you know, in Steemit's early days, they implemented a non-paying referral system where you just put a little thing next to the link, and that could be put on a link to the homepage or a link to a post page. And I think some of the early backlash against Steemit happened because of those referral links. So you know, just be careful of how it's done, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, totally. I think you're absolutely right there. You have to be.
Yeah, I don't know how Russia is, but you know, in English-speaking circles, you know, people see referral links and they get a little suspicious.
Oh yeah, totally the same here. Here is even because it's straight away as soon as you hear. In fact, when you say here to people referrals, people start to think of you as some sort of a, you know, that you're devil worshipper. That's it. Okay, he's referring people. He worships the devil. You know, it just goes like that. I don't mean literally worships the devil, but you know, people think of you as selling cosmetics or whatever else. Referral people. You know.
Right. It's associated with like low value marketing.
Yeah, pyramids. It's pyramids. In fact, we come across right now. We have 4 or 5 users on GOLOS, Russian users, who have started to, excuse my English over there, or I will not say excuse my French because Arkanage is here. I've already said that now. But they started to shit all over the place. And, you know, they obviously haven't read anything that's to do with the economy and how it works. And they are just screaming, oh, it's a pyramid, you know, and this project and Steam, this is a pyramid and it's not working and you are making money out of users and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and I don't know, you know, any advertisement is an advertisement, but sometimes it can cross the line, you know. So yeah. Because I don't think banning those, not banning, sorry, but flagging down those users is the answer.
It depends. I mean, you know, just maybe make a judgment call, and if they sound like they're trolling, you know, they probably
they're trolling. They're trolling.
You know, I guess, you know, you could tolerate it to a point. You know, it's up to you guys what you want to do. I think if I saw repeated trolling on Steemit, I wouldn't hesitate. If it was truly just ignorant trolling, I wouldn't hesitate to flag it. And other people there, you know, routinely flag trolling like that too. So,
you see, I just don't want to scare. When you flag, when a platform is such a new place, you know, it's completely new.
Yeah.
Flagging is a little bit scaring off new users.
Yeah, I can see that too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you mean. You don't want to like make it a culture of being afraid of being flagged. You could always, you know, if it really comes down to needing a flag, then what you could do is just reply with, you know, a rational, you know, explanation, or, you know, tell them where they're going wrong, or, you know, tell them how they're being trolly and instead of productive, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. It's funny, right as we speak on Telegram, on our chat, we have a big chat on Telegram, about 250 people, and one of those users is Red Hat. And now exactly people are speaking about, so when are we going to flag him? When are we going to flag him? Let's flag him, you know, and it's exactly right now the conversation. It's just, who's the user? Red Hat, I think it's one of the users who's trolling. Let me see if I can right now share my screen, and it's a shame you guys.
Shamed.
Well, I don't want to name and shame him, you know, but we've tried all last night to be as. In fact, I even upvoted the trolling post, and I said I'm upvoting this just because I feel sorry for you, really. And I'm trying to see where this guy. Okay, there it is, Red Hat. And there's a new post of him, right? And because he's done about 4 or 5 posts, and I don't know if it's the same person, but as soon as he does a post, 3 other users come and start to help him to sort of shit all over the place. And in fact, if we go into you know, the active, not active, but the posts that have been discussed, okay, because it's been 24 hours, I guess it's gone, but it was the most ever discussed post so far, with like 150 replies or something like that. So, you know, and people have really tried to be as nice as they can to him. Not everybody, but, you know, most of the people. And these guys, they just, you know, they don't take anything. They just go and say, no, you're wrong, because your guys are stealing money from us, and because, you know, and then they go on about the ICO, and then they say, well, until every single person who did the project invests in it, like the creators, like the developers, then it's everything. Then it's all a scam. And then you ask them, why do you think that? Why should a developer invest in his own project when he's already spent money on creating it? And then he said, well, one of his best comments was, well, you couldn't imagine Mark Zuckerberg without Facebook shares. And I was asking him, well, but do you think he bought those shares, or do you think he gave it to himself? You know, and in fact, as somebody who's participating on the ICO, I wouldn't want the developer investing, because they already have shares. I don't want them to have more shares, because I want my share to be worth more. You know, so as somebody who's invested already, I mean, I invested, and everybody can. I don't know if you know, but we have a list of who. I don't know if you know how the ICO works in GOLOS, and the way it works, when you press ICO, it creates a BTC account for you, a special BTC account, from where you send your BTC to, it sends it to the multi-sig account. So everything is completely, you know, you can see everybody who invested anything, you know. So, and we have an investment list, and I'm already on the top 3 investors, which I didn't invest a lot, but, you know, but in any case, it's something. And like I said, you know, as somebody who's invested already in it and has a share, I wouldn't want somebody to have too many vests. So I would say to him, you know, so it's funny, you know, they just go on and troll, not only about investing, about everything really, about the whole economy. And so we are not sure what to do about those users. That's what I'm trying to make a point of. Okay, guys, yeah? Are you going to say something,
You know, I would just say, you know, standard troll response rules apply. Don't feed them, but if they have valid points, you know, talk about that. And if they're purely trolling, just say, hey, you know, if that's going to be the way you're communicating, we're just not going to listen to you.
Sure. Well, I decided to do exactly what you said. I decided to stop feeding him. So I wasn't replying to the last 2 posts he made. Okay, guys. So basically, I think we're pretty much done here. So if anybody wants to jump in and say something else, you're welcome to do so. If you want to ask anything. If you have any question, anybody? Okay, no. Okay, great. So let me just see. I know somebody was listening on YouTube. Alexander? No, she hasn't got any questions. Okay, guys. So thanks for joining us. Thank you, P-Funk. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Arknech. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah. So great to have you. And I hope. Yeah, Arknech, do you want to add something?
No, just wanted to say das Vidania.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Have fun next week at the meetup and the conference. Good luck.
Oh yeah. On the 10th we have a big conference, which is this is a real Bitcoin conference. It's actually a really big event, and we are organizing as GOLOS. We are organizing the main. In fact, I'm doing it. I'm the organizer of the after party. So we're gonna have a very nice after party, probably in Moscow afterwards, till late in the morning. So, and then I know some people have to fly to the Steamfest actually on the next day, which is really funny because, you know, most of the people who are flying to Steamfest are going to be on the conference. They're going to the after party, and then I take my personal responsibility for putting them on the correct plane. I've already promised that to people. So let's hope they get to you in one piece. If not, you know, prepare your hangover drinks. Okay, guys. So thanks for listening, and thanks for being. And Roland, enjoy your cooking and bon appetit. Okay, guys.
Best, Roland. Sorry I can't make it. All right.
Yeah, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.